Today we are starting lesson 1-5. That's on pages 16 and 17 in your textbook. Make sure you have your spiral out, have your heading on there, and start with today's objective. Today's objective is I can compare two decimals, two thousandths, based on meetings of the digits in each place, using this is greater than, equal, and less two symbols to record the results of comparisons. If you don't like looking at the screen right now, this can be found in the upper left-hand corner of page 16, right under where it says Common Core. You can copy that exactly into your notes and just put those two words in there that you can, I can. So take a minute and get that copied down. Okay, now we're going to start right at the top of page 16 where it says comparing and ordering decimals. And the question there is, how can you compare and order decimals? It says scientists collected and measured the lengths of different cockroach species. It says which cockroach had the greatest length, the American or the Oriental cockroach? It says use these three steps to find out. So there you have your cockroaches that are labeled, and then you go to the top of page 17. And hopefully now you're going to remember this lesson because I'm sure all of you are screaming and saying, ew, nasty cockroaches. Yes, good. So now you're going to remember how to do this. Okay, so at the top of your page 17, it goes through your steps. Step number 1 of how you can compare is to line up the decimal points. Start at the left. Compare digits of the same place value. And we're going to stop right there so you can get into your notes now. Put Roman numeral 1. Put the question, how can you compare decimals? We're going to start with that one first. How can you compare decimals? And here are your steps. And this too is right in your book too, but it's put here as well. So number 1, you're going to line up the decimal points. You're going to start at the left side of the number. Then you're going to compare the digits of the same place value. That's very important. It has to be in the same place for you to compare. Step number 2 says, find the first place where the digits are different. So once you start comparing, so if you look up here, I've copied down 3 and 576 thousandths. That was your first cockroach's length. And the second one was 3 and 432 thousandths. So step 1 told me to line everything up. So line those two numbers up if you haven't done so already. So you can understand where it says find the first place where the digits are different. 3 compared to 3 is equal. That's the same. So you keep going over. 5 and 4. Are 5 and 4 the same? No. So that's your first place where they are different. And then step 3 tells me to go ahead now and compare. And again, if you need to, these symbols were written at the top but not labeled. So if you have to remind yourself, this is the greater than sign, this is the less than sign, and this is the equal to sign. So when we compare, these are our 3 choices to go. So now, underneath your decimals here, you're going to want to write the numbers that are different. What is 5 compared to 4? Yes, 5 is greater. So we're going to put the greater than sign in between the 5 and the 4. So that tells me that 3 and 576 thousandths is more. So back in the original problem, you would see that we would put 3 and 576 thousandths is greater than 3 and 432 thousandths. So we know now that the American cockroach is longer than the Oriental cockroach. Yes, very gross. We win that contest. Okay, so those are the 3 steps on how to compare decimals. So when you only have 2 decimals to compare, you line them up, you find the first place that's different, and then you compare those 2 numbers. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get some practice done. In your spiral notebooks, these are not in your textbook, so follow the board carefully. Put EX, for example, number 1. Copy 3 and 581 thousandths. This little circle represents that we're comparing to 3 and 586 thousandths. This is written from left to right because that's how you will see it in your textbook, okay? Okay, and our first step then, again, tells us to line up the decimals. So we rewrite the first number, put the second number underneath it, okay? Once we have them lined up, it says start at the left, and then we want to find until we see a different number. So let's start comparing. 3 and 3, that's the same, good. What about 5 and 5? Yes, that's the same as well. 8 compared to 8, equal to, good. Now this is the first time I see that the numbers are different. Now 1 and 6, so you're going to put off to the side here 1 and 6 and just look at those numbers to compare. What is 1 compared to 6? Is it greater than? No, 1's not bigger than 6. Is it less than? Yes. And it is definitely not equal. So then you go back up and put your less than symbol in the circle. Okay, good. Let's do another one. Please copy number 2. And copy down this decimal. 7 and 106 thousandths compared to 7 and 102 thousandths. Again, take both numbers, starting with the first one, put that on top, put the second one underneath, make sure you're lining up your decimals. Okay, we're going to start at the left side and compare the digits of the same place value. So this is the ones place, we're comparing the same. 7 compared to 7, equal, good. 1 compared to 1, yes, equal. 0 compared to 0, equal again. Now 6 and 2, those are not equal, so that's what we're going to compare. So off to the side here, put 6 and 2. And now ask yourself, is 6 greater than, less than, or equal to 2? Yes, 6 is bigger, so 6 will be greater than. And then you go back up and put it in your original problem for greater than.